So we were hearing how Gajendra, now realizing his imminent death, recollects all the activities which he had done in his past life, and the whole memory comes forth. The most mystifying aspect of this absolute truth. And we discussed yesterday how about even some practical real life situations of people forgetting everything, losing their complete memory, but even in that state they still remember the sadhana, the deities and so on. So Gajendra is now remembering everything and offering prayers also to the Supreme Truth. So some of the prayers we'll read today, some of the words which he quotes. Does this have a door?
No Prabhu. Hemendra Prabhu will come.
Okay, no problem. So Gajendra is praying, Namo Namaste Akhila Karanaya Nishkaranaya Adbhuta Karanaya Sarva Agamnaya Maha Arnavaya Namo Apavargaya Parayanaya. So he is praying. So what are these beautiful prayers which he is offering to Vishnu? Now see, a person who is in the animal body, he is praying. Earlier in few verses he is saying, my dear Lord, it is so difficult to perceive you who is adhokshaja, or who by nature is beyond the senses. Even those whose senses are designed to understand the truth, they also are not able to see and perceive the truth. Like human beings have senses which are designed to somehow sense these higher energies. Still they are not able to do. How is it that me, as such a dull person in this body of an elephant, is somehow able to recollect? It is indeed your mercy. He is praying. So he is saying, Akhila Karanaya, that you are the cause of every single thing that happens, the ultimate cause. So that means the cause of all good, cause of all bad, cause of sorrow, cause of joy, every single thing. For someone who has an idea of God as only someone who just gives joy and pleasure, he will get baffled. One has to learn to see the hand of God not only in distress, not only in pleasure but also distress, not only in success but also in failures, not only in accomplishments but in greatest of the dejections also. This is the true test of the character of our faith. When our desires, our ambitions, our expectations, what we are anticipating, things will happen in the world, when it gets disappointed and then we cannot perceive the truth, that means our perception of the truth during our good times was also absolutely bogus. Or it was just not there, it was just a figment of your imagination. So, moments such as this, situations just such as these, they just help us to get deeper inside ourselves, to drill within our consciousness, within our faith, knowing very clearly that ultimately what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram Yajya Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, that everything that happens here, I am the ultimate beneficiary. Now what does an ultimate beneficiary mean? Like for example, you all are working hard. Not so hard in Bloomington, essay. I had to correct it. But whatever you are working, after that you get some money. So you are the beneficiary of your actions. But then that money is put in a house, in an efforts and so on. Ultimately from your point of view, ये सब हम क्यों कर रहे हैं? then probably for your next generation. So from that angle, they are the beneficiary. Because you are paying taxes, the state is the ultimate beneficiary of all your hard work, because ultimately they are going to take 30%. That way, the more you higher you go, the country is the beneficiary of every person who comes here. Whatever effort you do, if you do not do legitimately, they'll put you in jail. If you are outside, you have to work in a way that your efforts are ultimately benefiting our socio-economic situation. So when Krishna says ultimate beneficiary, means every single thing that is done, good, bad, or whatever is happening, the ultimate beneficiary, the ultimate plan or direction of God only will exist. Now this is so difficult to perceive, especially when we see negative situations coming in our life, or when demons take control. It's easier to perceive of this thing in a safe environment here. Imagine we were speaking and some jihadis attacked with guns. It would be so difficult to perceive the truth. Or rather, just because you are chanting kirtan, doing satsang, and therefore you are persecuted, which happened during Mahaprabhu's time. Chand Kazi did that. Just because devotees were doing Harinam Sankirtan, he broke the mridanga. This has not been happening since Mahaprabhu's time. Ever since the advent of the demonic religion, it is the history. This only has happened in every single part of the world, especially a sense of an intolerance. In such circumstances also, to see the hand of God is extremely difficult. We have our devotees who have served in different countries, such as when it was communist Germany, that time it was East Germany, West Germany, now the wall is not there. Communist part of Russia and so many other places. Some of them have literally laid down their lives distributing Gita on the streets. They have paid a big price just to do Harinam Sankirtan. Some have been put into jail with third-degree treatment for 6-7 years until the whole communist system fell apart and the so-called prisoners were released. And all of them never lost their faith. But suppose a situation had happened in Mumbai a couple of years ago, where there was a bomb threat to certain big temples. So the police commissioner organized a training for all the residents of the temple, that you should also have a sense to understand what is a gelatin stick, what is RDX. So they brought all those samples. It was very fascinating to see. And they taught how to identify that this is a timer bomb, or where somebody could have got some explosive. What are the, basically they brought all those things and showed all the techniques to identify something which is unusual. So during that time, this word spread in the congregation also that, Hare Krishna temple has got this threat and so on. Some of them did not come to temple for 1 month. Why? Because अरे भगवान तो घर पे भी मिलेंगे ना, मंदिर में जाके ही करने की क्या जरूरत? 100% agreed. And that's what should be done. हम क्या करते हैं? हम तो ऐसे सोचते चलो अभी शायद बाद में जाना था तो अभी जाना होगा, चलो जपा अच्छा करो क्योंकि कभी भी कुछ भी फट सकता है. Those who are attacking, they are always so smart, right? चोर पुलिस का गेम है. Sometimes the police will win, sometimes yeah. So, but what struck me at that time, that we are not ready to chant the names of God if it would come at the cost of our own life and our own desires. How many of them will want to defend the deities when the deities of Vrindavan were attacked and they went to Jaipur and Karoli? other places. Our Prabhus are from Karoli, this family here. So, not so easy task to consider these things. And still see the hand of God. So when, see in the Ishopanishad, this verse comes, the very first verse. Om, invocation. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Avashishyate. So this verse, what does it mean? That everything is complete. So how is everything complete? Roughly the verse says the Lord, because the Lord is the absolute truth, anything that comes out of Him is also absolute. It's not complete. So it is complete in the sense of the purpose of whatever is happening. Very difficult to digest. Especially like Arjun. Losing your son right in front of you in the battlefield. And when you are just Krishna, you are with Krishna fighting that battle. But then to see, but because Krishna is the Purna, Supreme Absolute Truth, then whatever is happening is absolute. Purna se koi apurna karya ho hi nahi sakta. It is not possible. Means we may think that, oh, this situation is not good or not right or not appropriate. That means it is incomplete, right? When we see a situation is not appropriate, we try to make it appropriate. Means we try to make it complete, suitable to us. हाँ, अब बराबर है. ये समझ ही सही नहीं है. That does not mean that we don't try to make our situations appropriate, but we try to understand whatever is ultimately going to happen is Purna in its purpose. So to see the absolute truth, even in the chaos, is a test. As I have been sharing this couple of times, that even when Krishna was born, he was born in a jail. And before Krishna was born, Devaki's 6 children were killed right in front of her. Smashed an infant. 1 day infant. You all have seen, right? It's just like a lump. Koi bhi nahi. If you lose your weight, it will just fold and bend any direction. Imagine someone holding that lump, that flesh. The bones are also like sponge. They are not yet actually calcified properly. And someone smashing on the wall. We cannot tolerate. I know one mother, she had 3 sons. She had 4 sons, but out of them, one of them became a brahmachari in the temple. He joined during my time. She was so upset. And then in one such program, she met my mother. And both of them connected. अरे आपका भी बेटा गया, मेरा भी बेटा गया. ऐसे उनकी भावना थी. Misery loves company. तो my mother said, अरे आपके तो 4 है, मेरा तो 1 ही था. तो ऐसे करके बातें होती. हालांकि अभी everything is all okay, but that mother who had 4 sons, she said, 4 है तो क्या हुआ? एकदम she snapped. 4 है तो क्या हुआ? It's not acceptable. 100 है तो क्या हुआ? It's not acceptable. So generally a person is always so fully trapped in his own ego and ambition and his idea of life that to come out of his seat is so difficult, even after understanding and seeing somebody else's example. That's why I said, I have 4, but I cannot let go 1. What about when you have only 1? It's just so difficult. So, Devaki, she is losing 1 son, and she knows the 8th child is going to actually kill Kamsa. But the pain which she has to go through is very real. As a mother, that's not an acceptable fact that okay, the 8th is going to do the job, then let the 7th go. It is not acceptable. And then it is explained the mark of the blood and the flesh was on the wall. Imagine a mother losing the child and staying in the same house with the memory that this mark is my first baby. People lose enthusiasm even to try to attempt to conceive for the second child. Even in a small miscarriage, there is a very great discouragement to even try to attempt. If they have 2 miscarriages, then the depression is so high that they don't want to go further. Even an attempt, even though they are young. Second attempt was done. Third was done. Fourth was done. It requires an uncanny ability or some different kind of a character to believe in the faith, to words of Krishna that no, the 8th, until that time my seva is not completed. I must attempt and try to procreate. And then Krishna appeared, although the fatigue of all that experience vanished within a moment, actually not even before, not when he appeared. Before even that, as soon as Krishna was in the womb of Devaki, she started looking so charming, so positive, so blissful, happy. Vasudeva understood that now, because I have never seen my wife so divine, that means the Supreme Absolute Truth is going to appear. What I am trying to say is this word, Akhila Karanaya, means one has to, although I am saying I am also not at that stage, I am also praying that I can appreciate the chaos of my life and see the hand of God. Akhila Karanaya means to learn to see the hand of God in every situation. Let the mind not be attached to this is a good or this is bad situation. Let the mind only be attached to Krishna, to the holy names, to dharma, nothing else. That is what Gajendra is feeling. Now he is realizing. I spent my whole life. At that point, nothing was valuable. All those beautiful things which he had experienced as Indradyumna or as Gajendra, nothing. Imagine 2 lives of experiences. Does not matter. A moment of misery can destroy your whole life's experience. Do you all agree or not? One moment of misery. Then you cannot remember, oh, but yes, we had gone to this vacation, we had gone to Hawaii 10 years ago, let us relish that. No. It gets destroyed completely. It's just so amazing how this world is on Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala. All experiences are like a water droplet on a lotus leaf which never sticks. It's just somehow वो ऐसे सीधा है इसलिए लग रहा है सब ठीक है, थोड़ा भी एंगल चेंज हो गया गया. That is what it is essentially. Relatively plus or minus in different countries and based on your wealth and your so-called securities, you can play the game differently, but it is more or less same. Nothing really changes. So he's saying, Namo Namaste Akhila Karanaya Nishkaranaya. Nishkaranaya means who has no cause for his own birth. For example, we are born to suffer or enjoy the fruits of our own karma. We are not born here essentially. Krishna has not said कि भाई मुझे धर्म की स्थापना करना है, जरा जाओ ब्लूमिंगटन में. ऐसा है ही नहीं. आप में से किसी को ऐसा लगता है क्या कि आपका जन्म So we are for enjoying the fruits of our karma, just for that. But when Krishna appears, he appears without a cause. Or when Vishnu appears, when God appears, there is no cause for which essentially, there is no binding cause. Even for his existence, there is no cause. For our existence, we still need Pancha Mahabhut. Beyond the conception of mother and father, we need the 5 elements proper: earth, water, fire, air, ether, which are going to form this body. So we are so dependent on this. So that is what is called Nishkaranaya. And then he says, Namo Namaste Akhila Karanaya, Nishkaranaya, Adbhuta Karanaya. And whatever you do, those activities are Adbhut. You are the cause of majestic things. So Adbhut is not referring only to positive Adbhut. Adbhut is referring to anything which baffles your mind. Whenever you feel, my God, how and why this thing is happening, good, bad, ugly, whatever, that is Adbhut. अरे ये क्या हो गया जो आपके दिमाग से काम नहीं. So he is the cause of that also. Sarva Agama, for all the Agama Shastras, all the scriptures, many scriptures give various kinds of rules, regulations, rituals, yogic things, this, that. ये सब कुछ लिखा है किसी लिए लिखा है? Ultimately to understand him only. When Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Vedescha sarve ahameva vidya. पूरे वेद पढ़ के ढूंढ किसको रहे हो? मुझे जानना है. अगर आप मुझे ही ढूंढ नहीं पाए तो फिर क्या ढूंढा? So the all purpose of Agamas, he is the source of the scriptures and also the purpose of the scriptures. Arnava means an ocean, and Maha means a great ocean. So what kind of ocean is the ocean of knowledge and ocean of experiences? This is why no matter how much material experience you get, you always feel thirsty inside. That thirst never goes away. It's an unending, undying thirst. You just keep on doing. Trishna kabhi nahi jati hai. And when one gets attracted to the message of the holy name, even at a very low level also, suddenly the heart and the mind starts getting calmer and calmer and calmer. This is a test. If you want to test yourself whether you are progressing spiritually or not, just look within yourself and think, is your hunger for material things diminishing or not? If not, then you may be externally very well situated in the religious and spiritual habit things, but not integrated with it. This is a basic thumb rule. तृष्णा कम होनी चाहिए. अगर भगवान हमारे हृदय में बसते हैं तो अपने आप वो तृष्णा कम हो जाती है. That way. So that is what is called a great ocean of experience, of wisdom, that you feel satisfied. When you go near an ocean, your frivolousness minimizes. Have you seen that? Children or people are more frivolous near swimming pools because you can control. But the moment you go near an ocean, you may play near an ocean, but it's like you are participating in a very grand phenomena. You feel humbled. So that is what is this word meaning. And Namo Apavargaya. Apavargaya means Pavarga in our scriptures refers to, in Sanskrit there is Kuchu Tu Tu Pu. Kavarga, Chavarga, Tavarga, Tavarga and Pavarga. Ka means Ka Ka Ga Ga, Ga, Cha Cha Ja Ja, Ya, Ta Ta Da Da Na, Ta Ta Da Da Na, Pa Fa Ba Va Ma. So all the alphabets are running like that. Pavarga means Pa, Fa, Ba, Bha, Ma. So Lord is many times called Apavarga. Why? Pavarga refers to, Pa stands for Parishram, excessive endeavor. First stands for Fena, work so hard that you are foaming till the mouth. So this working hard or this Parishram is not like labor, but emotionally you just think that I need to work. Foaming till the mouth is an emotional thing basically, not like you're not going to foam like a cow, but it's an emotional foam. करते ही जा रहे, समझ में नहीं आ रहा है क्यों कर रहे. प फ ब, व्यर्थता. व्यर्थ का अर्थ क्या है? Worthlessness. That despite working hard and foaming till the mouth, you feel a sense of worthlessness. ठीक है ये सब है, but क्या Then bhaya. Despite working hard, despite doing everything, still you have a sense of fear that this thing can go away, it can get destroyed. What if this happens? What if that happens? Then what is the point of so much of an education, so much of security, so much of planning, and after all of this, if it has only brought a sense of insecurity and fear in your heart, then the whole purpose of education has defeated. The whole purpose of working hard for 10, 15, 20 years is defeated. Better are those villagers in India, खटिया पे बैठ के ज्ञान देते हैं. शांति है फिर भी. उनके पास कुछ नहीं है, बट इफ यू गो, वो भी बोलते अरे बैठो शांति से. हमारे साथ ही हुआ है. हम लोग यात्रा जाते हैं कभी दर्शन लेने के लिए, और फिर लाइन में सब भक्त लोग करते हैं, तो हम बोलते चलो चलो जल्दी जल्दी चलो, अपने दूसरा मंदिर जाना है. तो मंदिर के लोग, देयर टेम्पल डिवोटीज समटाइम्स, अरे बैठो शांति से, कहाँ भाग भाग के जाओगे, वही ठाकुर जी यहीं हैं. तो ऐसा, बट दे आर हैप्पी विद देयर सम लिटिल थिंग्स. सो ऑल ऑफ अस ऑल्सो नीड टू थिंक ओवर दिस. पढ़ लिख के ये सब करके भी भय है, इनसिक्योरिटी है, तो मतलब किया क्या? 30 साल की मेहनत ने यही दिया क्या फल उसका? है ना? Something to think about. So it is ba, the principle of ba, and ma means mrityu, which eventually will come, but the whole life design ki we should be just secure for that. So apavarga means one who can help you transcend the pavarga, the parishram, bhaya, fenila, vyarthata, mrityu. When you take shelter of the holy names, when you take shelter of the Lord and His pastimes, that's what happens. And then parayanaya. Ayana. Ayana means a trajectory or a journey. जैसे हम बोलते हैं ना उत्तरायण. सो उत्तर अयन, उत्तर की दिशा में जब सूरज जाता है तो उसको बोलते हैं उत्तरायण. अयन इज अ जर्नी. फिर दक्षिणायन. वैसे रामायण, कि राम के जर्नी की जो ट्रैजेक्टरी थी उस दिशा में हमारा जीवन जाना चाहिए, तो रामायण. तो ऐसे परायणाय. सो परायण मीन्स अयन इज जर्नी पर, not an ordinary journey, the journey which is taken by the transcendentalists. So let your journey become like a parayan. Very beautiful. If you can understand the words, they have so much richness in them. So he's saying that you are the only shelter for the transcendentalists. You are the journey for them. Let me offer my obeisances unto you, my dear Lord. Then he says, you are Atma Atmana Japta Griha Vitta Janeshu Shakte Dushprapanaya Guna Sangha Vivarjitaya. He says, my dear Lord, you are so difficult to obtain for someone whose only goal of life is to enjoy through his senses. आज मैंने ये खाया, कल ये खाएंगे, ये देखेंगे, वो देखेंगे, आज क्या है? We have to constantly trying to stimulate ourselves. For such people, you are very difficult to obtain. One who is so attached to his the idea of his family, occupation, children, and so on, considering them to be the absolute truth. So Atma Atmaja. Atmaja means that which is born from one's own body or mind. Mind से क्या जन्म लेता है? Ideas. चलो ये करते हैं, ये करना चाहिए, जन्म लिया. शरीर से क्या जन्म लेता है? बच्चे. सो आत्मा आत्मज, जो केवल अपने ही मन से और अपने हृदय शरीर से जन्मे हुई चीज़ों से आसक्त रहते हैं, उनके लिए आप बहुत क्या हैं? दुष्प्रापनाय, very difficult to obtain. But still, in this condition of mind, you are available to me. The very fact that he is praying means it's a sign that God is there somewhere. In the Nectar of Devotion, which is a book Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Rupa Goswami कहते हैं कि जिस प्रकार से you do not see the sun first, you just see light coming around the horizon. So that is a proof that the sun is definitely going to rise. So similarly, if you have some interest for these subject matters and you are somehow chanting, that is a proof that soon the Lord is going to fully appear like the sun in your lives. The early stages of that is this. This example is given very nicely. So, and then Gajendra is praying, Ekantino, those who are Ekantina. Ekantina means those whose, जिसका अंत ही एक ही है. Like sometimes you see ना, finally you have to do, अंत में ये करना है. तो हमारे कई बार अंत ही बहुत सारे रहते हैं. फैशन के अंत है, घर के इसमें से तो फाइनली घर ऐसा होना चाहिए, फाइनली संबंध ऐसे होना चाहिए, फाइनली ये होना चाहिए, फाइनली हमारे फाइनल ही बहुत सारे, कोई एक फाइनल है ही नहीं. तो एकांती ना मतलब जिसका अंत ही एक है, मतलब और कुछ है ही नहीं, बस भगवान. Gajendra is praying, I want to worship you who is admired and adored and worshipped by those जिनके जीवन का अंत एक ही है. एक आम आदमी का बहुत सारी चीज़ें रहता है, उसको घर ऐसे चाहिए, बच्चे भी ऐसे चाहिए, परिवार ऐसे चाहिए, फ्रेंड्स ऐसे चाहिए, नौकरी ऐसी चाहिए, जगह ऐसी चाहिए, सिटी ऐसी चाहिए, है ना. So very nice. All of you, if you have time, you should learn Sanskrit language. तो आपको बहुत आनंद आएगा, केवल एक एक शब्दों का आप ये सब कर सकते. So like that he is praying, Gajendra is praying. And interestingly, in all the prayers, about 30-40 verses, Gajendra is not calling for Vishnu, not calling for Ram, not calling for Shiva or anybody. What he is doing, his prayers are just one who is worshipped by this, one who is worshipped by that, जो अपवर्ग है, जो हर ऐसा. It's an indirect call of the attributes of God, but not who God is. So Shukdev Goswami is saying, एवं गजेंद्रम उपवर्णित निर्विशेषम. गजेंद्र ने भगवान को पुकारा, लेकिन निर्विशेष रूप से, विशेष रूप से नहीं. विशेष मीन्स विष्णु, राम, कृष्ण. निर्विशेष मीन्स God who is all pervading. So when all these prayers were offered and all the celestial devatas who were there seeing this 1,000-year-old battle, they were all assembled in the sky, knowing that this some majestic thing is now going to happen. Because they are seeing that suddenly this elephant is speaking prayers which only Rishi Munis utter. Perfect grammar and poetry sense जैसे हृदय से प्रकाशित हो रहा है. तो they all assemble, and when he is saying one who is glory, one who is now this kind of glorification, one who controls the Pancha Mahabhut, one who is this and that, that sometimes in some other yagyas it also applies to Indra because he controls air, water, fire. It can also apply to Brahma because he is also the chief engineer.
Creator.
It can also apply to Shivji, he also is creating and maintaining and destroying different times. So specifically, Gajendram upavranitam nirvishesham Brahma adayo vividha linga. Hearing Brahmaji's prayers, although all the devatas were assembled, none of them went to help Gajendra because they felt that these prayers do not belong to us. This is a very important thing. There is an abstract address going on. Like suppose your child is crying, one who has nourished me every day, please come and help me. One who has put me to sleep, one who has pampered me. So who will come if your child is crying here amongst 40 people? Who will go? He will say, Purvi jara jao. And if he says something else, तो पूरी बोली नहीं आपको जाना पड़ेगा, ये बात बोली. Right? Why did Brahma, Lord Shiva, Indra, Varun, Vayu, all the denizens of heaven not go? because truly they understand that all the abilities they get are just merely they are representing Vishnu. So they understand that now Vishnu is surely going to come. See, what belongs to you, you naturally know, sometimes. And when you know that it does not belong to you and you still want to possess, you have to put extra effort. And even when you get it, you don't feel the joy because it does not belong to you. मेहनत से पैसा मिलता है ना, it brings satisfaction. लॉटरी लगती है तो रात की नींद उड़ जाती है, satisfaction ही नहीं आता. ये कमाल है. I have seen this even in our own temple. So many Mumbai. पहले तो बॉम्बे स्टॉक एक्सचेंज बाजू में ही है मंदिर. So about 25 years ago the brokers would come. सुबह गुरु पूजा ऐसा करके तिलक विलक लगा के सुबह का कुंडली देख करके आज का दिन मेरा कैसा है. Even when they were lucky, they were never satisfied. And even when they were not lucky, they were never satisfied. Always anxious. मेहनत करने वाला शांति से भागवतम क्लास बैठ के सुनता था, बट इनका ऐसा ही रहता था. अरे मार्केट खुल जाए, क्लास ज़्यादा चल गया, मार्केट खुल गया. मीन्स इट वॉज ऑल कि आई वॉन्ट सम ब्लेसिंग्स, थोड़ी कृपा चाहिए कि आज मेरा जो दाम लगाना सही होगा. इंडिया इज लाइक दैट अ बिट. Even today when we travel, people when they see us, they say, महाराज आप हाथ देखते हो क्या? So many times I go to satsang program and the rickshaw wala, he starts conversing and then he says, मुझे आपसे मदद चाहिए. तो मैं कहता हूँ अच्छा पूछिए क्या? एक आंकड़ा बताइए. You understand? क्योंकि they are going to bet on a number. तो पहले जो होता मैंने आंकड़ा मतलब क्या आंकड़ा बताया? तो बोला कुछ तो नंबर बताइए, मुझे लॉटरी लेनी है. मैंने कहा देखो हम ऐसा काम नहीं करते. मतलब उसमें मेरा आंकड़े में आपका सब बिगड़ जाएगा. So people have this idea. So basically, something which comes out of your purushartha brings some kind of joy and satisfaction and stability. Even if it fails, the purpose of that is achieved nicely. कि चलो मेहनत तो अच्छी की है, पूरा फल नहीं मिला, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. But you are not regretting as such because you put your reasonable efforts nicely. But someone who has a fake thing, nothing is stable in that. So naturally the devatas, they are all aligned to the truth. They understand that this is the call, and after seeing all of this, then Vishnu understood that these prayers are basically for him. So when Vishnu saw this awkward condition Gajendra is, then he summoned his mighty Garuda, the carrier. Garuda is not always just lying around Vishnu. Garuda always is somewhere else. But he travels at the speed of mind. So whenever Vishnu summons, Garuda immediately comes and carries him. So in our Vedic literatures, there are not many stories of, or at least in satsangs you must have not heard about Garuda, but if you read Mahabharata, what Garuda as a personality is, it's amazing. And during this Rukmini and Rukmini Haran, when Rukmi wanted to marry his sister Rukmini to Shishupal, he had arranged for all the kings to come there. Meanwhile, Rukmini had sent a letter to Krishna that I cannot live without you and I want to be with you. Please come and take me away. मुझे हर लो यहाँ से, kidnap कर लो, चुरा लो. The origin of love marriages. That is also Krishna. So, very hilarious pastime. So at that time, Krishna is also so upset. He's thinking, Mera Vyakti ko, how dare someone even get her married somewhere? See, if you have an ego, can you imagine if Lord make उनका अगर ego लगेगा तो क्या बचेगा आपका? So he takes it too personal. Somebody gives him a love letter. He has not even seen who Rukmini is. Okay, for your information, of the 16,108 wives which Krishna had, 16,100 were the wives which were the daughters of kings who were kidnapped by Narkasur, whom Krishna had never seen them. He rescued them and offered them his name so that society में dignity रहे, नहीं तो people now you are with demon को शादी कौन करेगा? And all the other 8, they were not some kind of other relationships. They were all this kind of letters. Somebody who had seen Krishna or heard about him and wanted कि नहीं मेरा पति तो यही होना चाहिए. That was enough for him to wage a war and do all sorts of things. Just letter भेज दिया. Satyabhama, Jambavati, Rukmini and all the other 8 queens. So at that time, Krishna wants to travel to the kingdom of Vidarbha, where all the kings have assembled, and he's in Dwarka. He's thinking, अभी जाने में समय लगेगा, तब तक तो शादी हो जाएगी, क्या करूँ? He thinks of Garud. And at that time, Garud immediately, he thinks, oh, my master has called me. Within a moment, he appears with his huge flapping wings. And there is such a nice description that when Garuda then comes to that place from the sky, because he's an eagle, he has a more sharp, of course Krishna can see everything, but here he's appearing as a normal human, right? And Garuda is supposed to be an eagle, extreme vision, perfection. Garuda feels so angry, he's feeling that I have to humiliate all these thousands of princes who are assembled here. So the entry of Krishna is shown there. Garuda, while landing, he flaps his wings so hard that all the 1,000 kings and their tents, that all collapsed. Just with the wings. Just showing that, okay, now here is one more contender for Rukmini. लड़ सको तो लड़ लो कि उनका सेवक ही ऐसा है. So that kind of pride is shown in Garuda wherever. So the glorification, the demons were not as much afraid of the personality because they did not know who Ram or Krishna or Narsingh is. But whoever Garuda is carrying, that person has to be extraordinary. Why? Because Garuda is an impossible bird to handle. So someone who can tame him has to be the supreme truth. That was understood like that. So as soon as the sound of Garuda appears, the wind started changing because of the majestic flaps. The Devatas understood that now soon we are going to have the vision of Mahavishnu. That personality who is so difficult to see that sages are meditating for thousands of years. देवता त्रस्त होते हैं और हजारों साल प्रार्थना करते हैं कि बचाओ हमें, तब जाकर करके वो आते हैं. That person is going to come now. For whom? Gajendra and one crocodile. Both of who are cursed entities. श्रापित लोग, तपस्वी नहीं है, 1000 साल की तपस्या नहीं की है, अपने ही कर्मों के फलों में फंसे हुए लोग अभी पुकार रहे हैं. और यहाँ ऋषिगण अपने कर्मों के फलों से नहीं फंसे, वो 1000 साल तपस्या कर रहे, तभी भी वो नहीं आ रहे गरुड़ में, है कि नहीं? So they are all baffled. This person has an extraordinary compassion and कि मतलब प्रेम से अगर किसी ने पुकारा तो व्यक्ति कुछ भी कर सकते. And then they see Vishnu appearing. As soon as the first sight of Vishnu comes, Gajendra at that point he picks up a lotus and offers. भी कुछ तो ऑफर करना चाहिए भगवान को. And then Lord Vishnu, Narayan, he from one of his arms he sends the Sudarshan Chakra which kills the crocodile. From the crocodile appears a beautiful Gandharva. Gandharva are celestial musicians. So he was a Gandharva king who did some mischief, we discussed yesterday. And then he is liberated. He offers his obeisances. He is sent to heaven. But this Gajendra, because he was, see, Narayan did not come specifically to liberate the crocodile, because the crocodile was not offering prayers. वो तो बाय प्रोडक्ट में हो गया. इसलिए साधु और सत्संग में रहना चाहिए. इसमें से किसी एक की कृपा हो गई तो आपका भी लग जाएगा. That's a reality. That is a reality. क्योंकि जब कृपा करने वाले आते ना तो ऐसे चलो आ जाओ, चलो आप भी है ना, चलो फाइनल जो भी है चलो ले लो, ऐसा होता है. So always be in the vicinity where there is always a chance of deliverance. Even though you may be the worst of the, as Prabhupada would say, rascal sometimes. No problem. कहीं तो लग जाएगा नंबर. So to him, because of whom Narayan had come, he offered a special benediction. He carried the personality of Indradumna, who appeared from that elephant, on Garuda himself, and gave him a liberation of the form of Sarupya, means having the same form as Narayan, अपने ही स्वरूप करके उनको ले करके उनको मुक्ति प्रदान की. गजेंद्र मोक्ष लीला की जय. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. So such a beautiful pastime is explained here of ordinary people getting great benedictions. One of my very close friend, his grandmother, approximately after she was about 65 or 70 years of age, and then slowly she could not walk much. So she got attached to the name of Ram. So what she would do is she would just keep writing. And she would fill the books. And for a couple of years she did that. And she made a vow that every day she will write about 1 or 2 books, something like that. And she wrote that for about 6-7 years. Just writing. Eventually her senses became more and more weak. अभी आज आपको सत्संग सुनने में आनंद आ रहा है क्योंकि कान आपके ठीक है. एक समय वो भी नहीं होगा, इंद्रियों का सहारा ही नहीं होगा, देखने में ये भी नहीं दिखेंगे, ये कुछ नहीं होगा, ऐसी हालत होगी. बिना इंद्रियों के सहारे आपको परमात्मा को प्राप्त करना है, वो कभी तो सीखना पड़ेगा ना स्वर्ण से. All she could do is she had just learned little bit of scribbling. Whole day she would keep writing Ram. In about 1 week she would have to replace 5 pens. Ballpoint, too much of writing, right? 1 week में 5 पेन, दिन भर बस वही करना. And by Krishna's grace she passed away on in the Kartik Ekadashi times only. In the Brahma Muhurat time, around 4:30 a.m. on the Kartik Ekadashi. Such a nice departure. Not good for anything as such, मतलब घर में तो ऐसा है कि क्या ये आदमी कब चला जाए. So we see so many, again, like we see so many ordinary people getting liberated just because they have somehow taken shelter of the holy names. So again, please don't underestimate this small things which we do. The Sankirtan movement which Lord Chaitanya has started may appear very simple and ordinary. Mridang, Kartal, harmonium. It does not look like tapasya na aisa. धुआं नहीं आ रहा है और कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. But it is not ordinary. One other person, he is just like all of you, working in some other country in IT. His father, his entire life, he has just kept speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, doing Bhagavad Katha, like in villages they do, right? And then villages give some donation. That's what he did for most part of his life. 2 weeks before his departure, he called for his son one day and said, "Come, because now my time for going has come." Why? Because some celestial bodies, this is just a couple of years ago, some celestial entities, they appeared before him. he could see them, and they just said that, okay, now you pass on this message because on so and so date and so time you have to go. For the sake of formality, he was sent in a hospital. Knowing well, he knows कि भाई कर्म करते रहना है, but मुझे जाना है वो भी पता है. That was so interesting. He knows very well जाना कब है, लेकिन बोला चलो हॉस्पिटल. क्यों जाना है? अरे चलो ठीक है चलो हॉस्पिटल. And he told all the things to his son, what to be done and so on. So, and most of them were all simple spiritual instructions. That whatever you eat, offer to the Lord. कुछ भी हो जाए, every day भागवत का श्रवण करो. मुझे एक साधु ने भी कहा था, कुछ भी हो जाए, अगर कोई नहीं मिला तो किसी को भी पकड़ो और एक श्लोक पढ़ लेना उसको. But make sure that every day of your life, Bhagavatam you have associated yourself with it. It doesn't appear logical. एक श्लोक में क्या पढ़ा, क्या समझा, but रखो. So, do not underestimate the simple processes. Prabhupada used to say, Krishna consciousness or the Bhakti Yoga process is so simple that you may miss it. Something which appears simple, we take it casually. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments?